Good evening. Welcome back to the Too Much Time on Our Hands podcast. Dan's doing a strange little squinty thing. What's that all
Sorry.
about?
I don't know. I
That
thought
new
I'd do
face
something a
you're
bit
busting out.
different. I don't know. I'm trying something different while Tom's not here. I feel less intimidated. I feel like I can be my true myself. Yeah.
Nice. Well, you are joined by just myself and Dan this evening. Duncan, Tom, they've both, unfortunately, decided to attend the same erotic origami retreat in Milton Keynes. It's a 3-day residential thing. So
But it's perfectly allowed now. There's no limits.
No.
They're not socially distancing, let's be honest.
Well,
they're at this thing.
It gets fairly rowdy once the bar's been open for a couple of hours at these things. So I'm sure they'll have some tales to tell when they get back. But for this evening, you got myself, I'm Russ, and you got Dan. He's that one.
Hello. We got to wave because otherwise Tom will get annoyed.
He will. Gets very upset.
Yeah.
And this evening we are catching up on the news.
News.
And
It's just not the same. With a few of the people that really loses some of his impact.
try putting some like reverb on it or something.
Oh, yeah.
I say that like that's an option that I have that I can press a button.
News.
Let me spend 25 minutes downloading a plugin for Stream Deck that will add reverb when I hit this button.
There we go. So with that's what you're going to watch for most of the pod.
Yeah.
Then there'll be a little bit of news.
Going, no, it's not the driver's definitely.
Russ, did you say Stream Deck?
I did not. Oh,
Or
it reeks
did
of
you?
Segway in here.
Or did you say Steam Deck?
Exactly. That's the
Aha!
big news biscuit that's dipping into our tea this evening.
Yeah. Okay. So let's start with the big question. Do you want one?
I it's firmly in the want but don't need category.
Yeah. 100%.
Which normally results in me getting one. So I don't know. I don't think I can justify an Xbox, a PC, a Switch, and a Steam Deck. Bearing in mind that I have maybe half an hour a week to play games.
So for starters, they're awesome. The idea that you can now play your PC games on the go. Like one of the
it's not a new idea. You've been able to get or build things like this for a really long time. It's just a PC, which is kind of the genius of it, because it is capable of doing anything that a PC is doing. But what's always been missing is a certain element of industrial design or something. They've always been clunky, fiddly, buggy, or have a battery life of about 35 seconds.
That's the important thing of getting someone like Valve to actually put this together.
Yeah.
Like having, a company that has a pedigree of quality, maybe not necessarily with hardware, but with hardware as well, because obviously they've had the.
Like, look at the. Which is there's the HTC headset, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah, the Vive.
And they've got a couple of VR headsets that are kind of basically the standards.
Yeah.
And they did that Steam. Did they call it a Steam Box before? They had like a small form factor PC. There was nothing wrong with it, just people didn't really want it. Yeah,
basically. But I mean, obviously, people have been able to make things out of Raspberry Pis for forever. Not to this kind of quality, not to this kind of processing speed, but still. But it's a neat idea. It runs on Linux or Linux.
Linux, I believe.
Was
that as default? It comes with a custom SKU of Linux on it, which I imagine will basically just be some sort of Steam OS type thing. It will just boot straight into your game library.
Yeah,
but you obviously have the option of stripping that off and putting whatever you want on
there. Features a 4-core, 8-thread Zen 2 CPU, which is roughly the equivalent of Ryzen 3 3100. Perfectly fine CPU. It's 2.4 to 3.5 gigahertz power. It's requires 4 to 15 watts of power, actual power. Use the RDNA 2 architecture for the GPU. It's not going to be powerful, but there are certain games. If you've got a Steam library like everyone has, where you've got those games that you pick up just because they're 99p, then this is going to be perfect for that.
Yeah, it's an indie games on the toilet machine.
It really is, yeah. So, like, if you can imagine, for me, it's a Nintendo Switch with a bit more freedom. Just like the idea of just like, so I've got a Steam library, I've got a PC, and I'm assuming you'll be able to start a game on your Steam Deck and then continue it on your
as long as
PC.
it's got some. Well, you need to have some sort of like cloud save thing, and then obviously the Steam Deck will need to be connected to Wi-Fi. But yeah, you can, can't you?
Well, it wants to have a cloud save because the actual storage is pretty shit. For you
can stick an SD card in it as well.
You can, yeah.
So although you can pay like £200 extra to get a larger hard drive, you could just buy a 50 quid SD card and get another 150 gig of storage quite easily.
Yeah, when you're talking this smaller power, you don't really need like an SSD, do you?
And also, like, this is not a machine that you're not gonna want your whole library of 500 AAA games installed on this thing ready to go at a moment's notice. I imagine what most people do is whatever they're playing at the moment, they'll just you could just knock off a mission or two on the train home from work or whatever.
Yeah, and I would imagine you'll be able to play the best thing about PC is you can play whichever version suits your PC on depending on your PC. So,
it's not going to be.
This will or won't run something. It will just run it.
Yeah. Is it? I mean, I imagine it's not got a 4K screen.
No, it's just a basic HD screen by the looks of things. I mean, 1280 by 800. That's HD, isn't it?
That's less.
So 1080p is 1080 by
1920 by 1080 is full HD.
Yeah.
But so it'll be around that, won't it? Because there's probably not a lot of point in putting much more on it because it's not going to be able to run. Most PCs can't run games at 4K. No way this thing will.
60 hertz refresh rate as well.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
That's probably going to make with a screen that size as well. That's going to make more of a difference than the resolution.
100% agree. I think it's really cool. Where I would play it will be in the same room that I'll have my PC directly in front of it, so I absolutely don't need one. Because this is the kind of thing where I go, I'm not taking that anywhere. What are you talking about? That's ridiculous. It's expensive.
When you can dock it.
Docks. That's another really cool thing. So like you can then just like if I decide to then go and play in the living room, I can then play it on a big screen.
Although, so when you dock
defies the point.
What do you control it with?
I'm assuming mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, because also it's got like USB ports and Ethernet.
Yeah,
and it shouldn't be such a sort of thing that you have to keep remembering, but it is just a PC, so you can plug mice into it, you can plug a keyboard into it, you can plug a controller into it. I'd imagine it's got Bluetooth, so you can just connect an Xbox controller to it or something.
Yeah, I think this is really good for people that do a lot of traveling. Obviously, it's handheld, but I don't know whether it's worth it as like if this is your only PC. Like I think 350, mind you, 350 quid. You could probably get a full size PC that is roughly the same power as this thing. So maybe it is the way to go.
Yeah, I mean, you just want that to connect up to a telly. It's not a bad option. And
no, I agree.
The actual device looks pretty in terms of the you've got multiple analog sticks, buttons, touchpad type things.
Yep, doesn't look remotely like a Game Gear.
Mouse style actor. So you can actually, it's obviously not designed as a productivity machine or a laptop or something, but you could use it realistically as a just as a PC. So if you wipe if you were to wipe the default Steam Linux build off of it and just put Windows on there, you would still be able to play all your Steam games.
Yeah, I don't. Can you actually do that? Is the question?
It's just a PC. You can put whatever you want on it. You can run Office and stuff like that on it as well if you really want to. If you're a bit weird.
Just realised something, Russ. You're not experiencing my face in all its true glory.
Oh dear. Oh, that's much better. Yeah.
Is that better?
Nicely soft focus. Oh no, yeah.
Right.
You're all in focus now.
Oh no, there you go.
Lovely stuff.
That explains so much more.
Yeah, like they were saying, you could, you can install the Epic Game Store on there if you want.
Yeah,
and you could also get xCloud working on it if you really wanted to.
So yeah, you can get xCloud to work on it. It's a bit of a faff, considering you can just get xCloud to work on an iPad or your phone.
So that is true, but I
Mm.
suspect that the type of people that are going to buy this thing are 100% fine with a bit of technical faffing. These are not
Yeah.
Nintendo Switch owners that are going to be buying this, or they may well be, but not. It's not the same.
I mean, that's the direct
They're nerds, is what I'm trying to
competition,
say.
isn't it? Yeah.
They're
Dweebs.
not going to
Fucking
be
hell.
daunted by replacing the operating system on something like this.
No, true. But as I say, at that point, like if you are planning on using it as like an xCloud machine, just buy a backbone for your phone. Surely is cheaper. Like, getting those controllers are really cool, and turn your phone
You
into
wouldn't just
that.
have to use it for xCloud. You could use it for Game Pass.
True.
You could
That's true.
install Game Pass games natively onto it.
Yeah, with
Run
whatever games will run on it. But yeah, but I'm guessing like Forza Horizon 4 probably wouldn't run on it. I'm not saying that's the only game I'm concerned about.
Probably. I say Forza Horizon's quite old now, isn't it? I mean, it's.
If it still feels new to me, Russ.
I mean, again,
I've stopped playing.
Thing about PC, you turn the settings down far enough, and they're usually still perfectly playable.
I had stopped playing, Russ. And the only way I could bring myself to stop playing was just completely remove myself from it.
Mm-hmm. So you've got all the cars then. You've achieved what
No, shut up. No, I haven't. I've just walked away.
Saying.
Shut up. No, because there is stuff I've got to do. But it's all tuning and like art and paintwork and stuff. And I can't be bothered with that. Yes, to get there's one car that I need, obviously. And to get that I need to get to level 5, I think it is, in tuning, and level 5 in the paintwork thing. Designs, the vinyl designs.
A load of random designs and save them.
I was doing that for a bit, but even that seemed to be taking far too long for my liking. And I kept checking, like, someone please just sell this bloody car. Please, someone on the auction, just sell this bloody car. But no. And then the worst part is, sorry, everyone that's heard all this before that's watching the stream, because this is my one argument I have ever. The worst part is, there's loads of cars I can't get because they were pre-order cars. And you know how, like, so I got some of the pre-order cars, but because I didn't pre-order it from 4 different places, there's loads of different cars that I just will never get.
But I kind of think that's too much pre-order stuff. Is only pre-order for like the first 6 months, and it just goes, oh yeah, we'll actually just give this to everyone for free now.
Nope, can't get
Maybe
them.
When
just
the next Horizon comes out, they'll
genuinely considered doing this, saying, hi Turn 10 or Playground Studios, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hi Playground. I've pumped a month into your game. I own every car in the game. Would you let me buy the pre-order cars off you, please? Just please, just let me do this. Let me finish the collection, and I'll talk about how great Turn 10 and Playground Studios are. If you can just let me own these cars, please, because if I don't, I know where your studio is.
So the only way to actually get all of them was literally to have pre-ordered it from a whole bunch of different places.
I shit you not. For Forza Horizon 5, I've already started looking at the different places I can pre-order it from.
Weirdo.
Yeah, I'm sure I could probably buy the pre-order codes online, thinking, oh, fuck, why haven't I done that? They're probably still there, probably still valid, right?
I mean, you're getting into slightly dodgy territory there, where you're just going to give someone some money for some random letters and numbers.
I'll do it. That won't stop me.
Fair enough. Anyway, Steam Deck.
Kisto says, does the 350 version only have a 60 gigabyte storage? Yes.
Yeah, I think that the entry level one is, it's 50. So you're basically looking at one game, really, aren't you, on that?
Yeah.
One AAA level game. Or about 100.
Jack also says, I ticked off the Dan complaints about Forza pre-order cars off my bingo card.
Yeah, there you go.
Man, the struggle is real.
The other thing about the Steam Deck, of course, is it sounds incredibly similar to the Stream Deck, which is the little box of buttons that all the YouTube streamers use.
I had a moment's weakness where I was trying to find one to pre-order. And thankfully, because it sounds a lot like the Stream Deck, I accidentally nearly ordered a Stream Deck instead.
I mean, they're great. It's really useful, but you can't play much on it.
No, exactly. And also, they're way more expensive than they need to be, I would imagine.
The Stream Decks,
Mm.
the big ones are really pricey.
Yeah. Anything with the word Elgato at the moment seems to be ridiculously pricey for what it actually is.
A lot of their stuff is quite overpriced. And it doesn't even have RGB on it, which is normally the reason for making things overpriced.
But we should be nice, because I saw they sent out like packs to like a load of streamers recently. So Elgato, it's the way to go. There we go.
I mean, I disagree. We use.
I made up a slogan for
controlling this thing, but
what?
Nothing else of theirs.
No. Yeah, but it's Elgato. It's the way to go. I made up a slogan for them, so maybe they'll send us some stuff. I'm pretty certain that's how it works for us.
That's just a bit uncomfortable.
You've said that before, haven't you? So yeah. Even Jack also says even the 451 can't install all of Call of Duty. I had to delete Call of Duty off my Xbox because
they're getting a bit
it comes
ridiculous.
with a 1 terabyte hard drive, and that was taking up nearly like 15% of it. It's bonkers. Oh, do you want the HD packs? Yeah, sure. Well, luckily, we've got this new architecture running through the SSD, which means that you don't have to like duplicate resources that you normally would on a normal hard drive. But somehow, it's still 250 gig of your hard drive. Why? It's ridiculous for a game that lasts 5 hours and then Warzone. And then every update is like, here's 110 gig extra. No. Get off my hard drive, because
it's just not really a thing in software development anymore. It used to be the be all and end.
That was the point of it. That was the point of these new hard drives. The new SSDs was so that you didn't have to replicate the same, like, because everything was easy to get to. You didn't have to replicate the resources that you normally would on like a standard mechanical drive. And that was the reason it took up so much space, apparently. I call bullshit.
I mean, you can't, something like textures and stuff, you can't, there's only so much you can compress them before they start to go janky.
True.
But
yeah, true.
They're too, the games are too, it's too big, Lynn. They're too big. And the hard drives just aren't big enough. No new console should be coming with a 1 terabyte hard drive. That is just not enough.
No, but they do this every time, don't they? So it's almost like it seems like it's a tactic. But like, yeah, it's particularly annoying when you've got like the Switch, which somehow fits like 400 games onto a 32 gig hard drive.
Yeah, but it's a different type of game, really, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, it is, yeah. So let's go on to what we've got here then. I don't like that news. So let's move on.
The stuff about Netflix starting to get into gaming.
I'd completely missed that off as well. So yeah, let's talk about that.
For all that we've talked about stuff like xCloud over being the Netflix of games, what it never occurred to us was that Netflix might want to be the Netflix of games. But it makes perfect sense. I mean, all they do is send lots and lots of data backwards and forwards to people very quickly. So it's not that huge a pivot for them.
No.
They're starting off with just mobile games, aren't they?
Yeah. So the thought is that they're going to make a deal with Sony, so that Sony don't actually have to put any work into having their equivalent of Game Pass.
Well, there'll need to be some sort of hardware thing for it. So obviously, if you're targeting mobile gaming to start with, that's fine, because a mobile is its own controller.
Yeah.
Nobody is going to want to play games on their telly that you can control with a remote control. That would be unbelievably dreadful.
Yeah.
So
it's been tried so many times as well. Those bloody DVD games. Apparently, you're a bit quiet, by the way, Russ.
Oh, do apologise. But yeah, if they actually want to get into this really seriously, presumably they're going to need to. There's going to be some sort of Netflix control or a box or something that will let you play games up on the big screen.
Yeah,
definitely doable.
on the subject of a hard drive, Jack says, I think that 1 terabyte is okay. It can fit about 20 or so on my hard drive, and I rarely have that many going at once. It's fine. It was fine. It's a bit different with the Series X because all of a sudden, like they went, oh, and all these games have Series X upgrades, and the only way you're going to be able to play them is on that. And then that takes up an immense amount of space. So you need to pick which ones you're actually going to play at any one time, which I should be doing anyway, or stump up an extra 200 quid for a 2 terabyte SSD card.
That's a bit ridiculous.
The problem that Netflix and PlayStation have got is PlayStation are reluctant to give up their first party games on day of release like Xbox did. Like that is a massive move. Like it didn't seem it at the time with the Xbox One because it's like all our first party games, they're going to be on Game Pass at day of release. I'm like, well, cool. That's both of them. Excellent. Like, who cares?
You can only do that if they've decided to just put it. It's not about individual games anymore. It's about Game Pass and selling Game Pass subscriptions.
And that's what they've done. There is a first party game coming out. There's a first party game coming out once a week now for the next 8 weeks or something, because now all of a sudden Xbox have pulled their finger out of it. So things like Flight Sim are coming out. You got the Ascent coming out. Did Death's Door come out on Game Pass as well? I think a few others as well. Psychonauts 2 coming out soon as well, and then that leads into things like Halo Infinite and Forza Horizon 5. All these games coming out on Xbox day of release on Game Pass.
And I think you would, if you were considering pre-ordering something like Forza or Halo, you may as well just sign up to Game Pass.
Yeah,
you'll get it day one
unless,
anyway, and then you can play a bunch of other stuff while you're waiting.
I will be actually buying Forza though, Russ. So
even though you're going to get it on Game Pass,
yes, I need the extra cars from the deluxe, the VIP edition. Don't laugh at me.
You've always been something of a victim for special edition releases, haven't you?
And that's not true. You've seen Tom? He's got all the statues and stuff. He got fucking the Duke Nukem Forever one, didn't he?
Yeah, well, we've all hit low points in our lives.
The only thing I bought the deluxe edition of Halo 4, but it wasn't the super deluxe. It was just the one that came with the books and stuff. Mm-hmm. And the only one I really spent any money on was Modern Warfare 2, which came with the night vision goggles.
Super useful.
Obviously, yeah. I used them once to spy on the cat. But the cat has night vision, so just looked at me and went, "What is this prick doing?" Mm-hmm. So, a couple of comments. Jamie says, "Hello, Jamie." Jack says, "Yeah, but you only need space for Forza anyway." He's got a point. I could just delete everything. Sarah would be pissed off though, so I shouldn't do that. Yeah. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. Maybe I will just delete everything but Forza. Yeah, I already did that to make space for stuff. But yeah. District 9 Elysium director Neil Blomkamp is working on AAA shooter. Has never made a game before. He directed the live action Anthem film, but he says he's working on a AAA shooter. He's been doing some really interesting things recently. Have you seen the trailer for his new film as well? Demonic.
No.
Looks freaking scary, and I'm kind of in.
I'd be very interested to see what he does in a game. He's got a very interesting aesthetic.
Yeah, and he's been working on a lot of that live visual effects stuff, hasn't he?
Oh, the Unreal Engine powered stuff.
Yeah, and it looks really cool. Jack says he's got the Total War Warhammer Collector's Edition, now has an unused drinking horn. Well, you could drink out of it. Mm-hmm. Problem solvers. You don't have to drink alcohol out of it.
I had the like the sort of the Steelbook box set version of Assassin's Creed 3. It's a shame it was a bit of a rubbish game.
Yeah, it kind of must have put you off, like buying those versions of games.
I had a nice metal tin of. This is back in the day when a special edition was a metal box for your DVD.
Yeah.
I had the metal box BioShock. That was really nice.
Oh yeah, that was nice.
Mm.
You're absolutely right. Bearing in mind I download all my games now. Like the only thing that's got a disk drive. Jack says, but I have cups. Yeah, okay. The cups are more useful than the drinking horn. I've never got the drinking horn thing.
I mean, you need a little stand for it as well, don't you?
Yeah. I thought when I started playing more D&D that I'd get into like I'd want a drinking horn, but no.
I think it's playing D&D over the internet. You feel like a bit of a spanner sat there with your drinking horn or your tankard. I imagine it's probably different if you're in a room full of like-minded and equally tankard upped individuals.
It says it has a stand, but that's far too much effort. Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're right. You have cups. Use the cups.
Yeah.
Store pens in the drinking horn or something.
But they'd sort of plop out, wouldn't they? I think that'd be quite an unsatisfying pen pot.
For the longest time, this is really interesting, guys. So come along for the ride. Thank you. Lock the doors. For the longest time, I didn't really drink coffee. So people would buy me mugs, but I'd be super happy because I'd keep things like pens and darts in them. So I have mugs with loads of stuff at my folks' house.
Oh, is that it? Is that the punchline?
One for the book. One for the book. I thought, you know,
darts in a mug.
Dunkadote? Should we an anecdote? A danecdote works, but yeah, there you go. We'll go with that. Jack also says he's got the Bioshock 2 one, had the vinyl and art book with it as well, which is cool. That is cool. I like the Bioshock games.
There's less cool actual physical stuff that you get with these special editions now because there's all digital, isn't it?
It is all digital. I used my disk drive on my Xbox for the first time about a month ago, and I got it in November. So yeah, it's I don't really need it. Is the point? Like, you definitely don't need them on PCs anymore because they take up so much space.
I mean,
and so much power. Yeah.
If you were to buy a laptop or a shop bought PC, you wouldn't find one with a disk drive. We
not unless you specifically asked for it.
The other day for something. We needed a DVD burner, and there wasn't one in the building.
Yeah, that's crazy, considering where you work as well.
Somebody had to run up to Tesco's and buy one.
He says, I'm the same. I'm sure if Tom was about, he'd appreciate the Seats and Synthetics mug. Nice. Neil Blomkamp, Demonic looks good, and he's working on AAA games, and I trust him with this kind of thing.
Cool.
What have we got next? Xbox users surprised with new free game. You can currently download MX Unleashed for free. It's unclear why this game has been made free for subscribers or how long it's going to be free. Rainbow Studios and published by THQ even. MX Unleashed released back in 2004. So yeah, like an original Xbox game. You can get it for free. Go get it. Crimson Skies is coming to Game Pass soon.
Oh,
that's
nice.
A great game. That's a great game. This is fun. Mondo Comic Con 2021. You can get the Wolverine Crush meme figure. So Wolverine lying on the bed, stroking the picture. You can get that now as a little statue thing.
Lovely.
Do you not think that's cool?
Disappears up its own arsehole a little bit more.
That's nice. I like it. I think it's cool. It's mostly because I really like that meme. You can also get there's a version of Wolverine with interchangeable heads, and it looks really cool. It's an action figure. The interchangeable heads are a variety of different ones with the peaks that come out without the mask. And this is what's really cool about it. You can get the morph head. So it's from the animated series. So it's pretend it's Morph looking like Wolverine. Nice. Which I really like. And it also comes with, the intro where he does that, and it's got like the waves that come off his claws. It comes with them as well. So you can like reenact the intro with Wolverine.
Very cool.
Yeah, we should do a pod on the X-Men animated series because it was fucking brilliant.
I never saw it.
Dude.
What channel was it on?
It was on Sky, to be fair.
Yeah, it did on Sky.
You should watch it.
Yeah,
but would you, Russ, would you let me watch you watching the X-Men animated series?
See, I know how much you would enjoy that, and I also know how
I'd love that.
It would make me.
I do love a good watching someone else.
I think I
watch
have
things.
to accept that there is not. I don't have time to watch endless children's television that I missed back in the day. I'm never going to watch Star Wars Rebels.
Oh God, I'm with you on that one. I really every time I sit down to watch it, I'm like, just put The Expanse on again.
Yeah.
Which is bad. And also, I'm going to be rewatching something else.
Have you, on a slightly related note, have you seen the trailer for the new He-Man series?
Yeah, it looks fucking awesome.
The trailer is a thoroughly enjoyable 3 minutes.
Yeah, Kevin Smith making it as well.
Yeah, it looks really fucking cool.
Classic He-Man fans are up in arms because apparently he's done something wrong with it. Fuck knows. God.
I mean, we're talking about fans of a children's TV series. So those types of people, if you didn't upset them, you're probably not doing things right.
Yeah, I agree. Jamie says, I don't think I ever made it all the way through to the end of X-Men. It's good. It's a really good series. The animated series is really good.
But when you watch children's TV back then, it never really occurred to me that things were sort of in series. They just were.
Yeah.
So you didn't really care if you had seen all of them or whatever.
Russ, you're still quiet.
Well, I don't know what we can do about that.
To angle your mic, maybe? I don't know.
No, this thing... oh, look, my settings have popped up on the screen, so I need to go into...
Whilst Russ is doing that.
I mean, I could move it to the other window, couldn't I?
Apparently, I might be loud. Hang on.
No,
maybe I'll turn down a bit.
51. What sort of a volume is that to have your microphone at? There we go. That should be a bit better
God.
now.
You're quite loud now. I was thinking you've got... Hang on, I'll turn you down. Professionalism. You put the settings up on the screen.
I didn't do it deliberately. It's going to pop up on one of them. We're not that professional an organisation here.
We are not. No, at least there wasn't like porn in the background.
I'll just have a quick word with my producer.
Oh, what's he saying? We should make up a producer for the show. We'll come up with a name for a producer. Jamie says much better. Dan says X-Men is great, and he is right. X-Men is excellent.
I'm vaguely familiar with it. I've definitely seen some of them, but that was probably around a friend's house.
Yeah.
I distinctly remember going to my
you.
mate Ian's house, and Nickelodeon, which I didn't have, was showing nothing but Turtles for the entire day.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And what did you do?
Watch Turtles all day.
Yeah, that's good. That's some good shit. Not news necessarily, but we have been told that on Audible they have a load of the Warhammer 40k. It's talking about childhoods. That's what brought that up. Novels on the cheap.
Yeah, I think I'm going to finally start. I'm going to finally start reading 40k books. It was only a matter of time.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that they are the most embarrassing. I mean, I would rather be seen reading 50 Shades of Grey on the tube than a 40k book.
Jamie says Turtles they sound awesome, and Dan said X-Men is excellent. Yes, it is. Mm-hmm. Yes. Gambit, they did Gambit right. Like that got me into Gambit, and I'd like to be.
You've been trying the rest of your life to get into Gambit, haven't you?
Oh my god, yeah.
40k books. So yeah, there's a bunch of. They're pretty well regarded audio productions up on Audible. And yeah, I think I'm going to...
Akkad, to your left!
I'm going to start... I'm just aware there's a lot of dross.
Yeah.
In there.
It just feels like they just wrote a lot.
There's so many of them. They've got about 6 billion books. They were like one of the largest publishers in the UK for quite a while.
Yeah.
Broadly because anyone could turn their 40k fanfic blog into a published book if you ask them nicely enough. I think the quality on some of them is a little bit questionable, but there are meant to be some really, really good ones in there. So I think I'm gonna start with Gaunt's Ghosts and descend into a pool of nerdiness from there. I think.
Yes, I will be spending money on D&D books because they have a load of new ones. They got one about dragons coming out in it. That'd be fun. Dan says X-Men TV series got me into Rogue. With that white shock of hair and Southern Belle accent.
Nice.
Yeah. Rogue was good enough for Gambit, and I'm fine with that. And Jack says, fairly certain you could read a 40k book every day for the rest of your lives and still not finish.
It's far too many of them.
Well, it's also exciting because in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war.
Yes, but in the grim darkness of the far future, it must be fairly difficult to find something that isn't just unrelenting grim dark misery.
And maybe borderline.
And the Ultramarines are super cool and they're all amazing.
But no, I think you're missing the point though. Like, the actual creators don't like the Space Marines. The Space Marines are super fascist. Like, Warhammer 40k was written by a bunch of lefties. So, like,
I think a lot of the fandom has kind of missed the point slightly with a lot of that.
They conquered the universe, which apparently is a good thing.
Yeah.
So and then got annoyed when people didn't want to do that.
I mean, it's just found a universe in which there aren't any good guys.
Yeah.
There is no
the tower close.
Yeah, but they're extreme sort of communists. You know, they invade and subjugate people, and if you don't follow their exact lifestyle, they'll wipe you out.
Yeah.
But they've got better Wi-Fi than everyone else.
They do. And their guns are better as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Eldar aren't awful, are they?
Yeah, they are. They're haughty. They regard basically all other sentient life as completely beneath them and unworthy of continuing to exist. And they did also sort of, didn't they? They basically caused the birth of one of the Chaos Gods, didn't they? By partying too hard.
That's it. Yeah, that's true. So the Tyranids are the only good guys there.
I mean, at least they're not like evil as such either. They're just animals.
Yeah. Apparently, Tau are like mega extremists now.
I mean, they always have been. It's you know you either join them or you get obliterated. It's just that if you do join them, you're not necessarily treated like a complete subhuman bit of scum like you would be in the Imperium.
Yeah. Dan also says, when 40k is set in the grim darkness of the far future, that there is only war, then how can any of the stories have any decent stakes? Well, maybe it's to be slightly less war-y, like to solve a war problem.
It's a very inconsistent, like it doesn't make any sense because it's not trying to. It's everything turned up to 11, and yet they still, you know, you have an army of 10 billion slavering aliens, and you think, right, I'm going to get a guy with an assault rifle down there.
Yeah.
When they have starships and weapons that could just obliterate the whole planet and things like that. It doesn't make any sense, and it's not trying to.
No.
But there's definitely, I mean, there's definitely room for cool stories there because you can, there's untold billions of people in that universe. You can think of anything and do a story about it.
While we're on stuff that I spend too much money on, D&D books. There's a few of them coming out now.
So what's the new ones?
There's a campaign
bunch of dragon
Wild
stuff.
Beyond the Witchlight, which is about a carnival traveling through the Feywild, which sounds awesome.
Yeah, that looks really cool, that one.
And then there is Wild Beyond the Witchlight, which is a source book to do with the Feywild. And then after that comes out, is it Fizzbands?
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah, the one that's all on Treasury of Dragons. So, like, loads of stuff coming out for that. And so, like, even if I wanted to get back into D&D, I can't because I won't have the money because I'll spend all on that.
So there's a bunch of like dragon-related campaigns and things, but you've also there's the new Dragonborn classes and subclasses.
Yeah,
and
people wanted like classes for like half dragons, so I think that's in there as well because people have been banging on about that for ages. People that fucked a dragon or something. I don't know how it works, but it's meant to be quite good. Jamie says, I know nothing of 40k, and at this point I'm afraid to ask. Shall we do?
I mean, you should be. It's not a healthy thing to get into.
No. And
it's the kind of stuff like you would think that like parents getting worried about their kids reading Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Read some of the stories in the rule book to 40k, and people would be reporting it to the authorities.
Yeah.
They're weird.
I was collected the Imperial Guard, and they were the more normal people because they were just the oppressed masses, essentially. So we should do a podcast on 40k.
Can do. It's a very good way to get a lot of people on the internet angry at you.
Well, we know enough people that are experts. I know a couple of people that we could get on to talk about 40k.
Yeah, possibly.
Let's do it. We'll do it at some point. Pencil that in for between Searching Questions 412 and
Yeah.
Redly Deadly 3.
And like everything we do, this will be about 40k between the periods of 1999 and 2002.
Yeah, when it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Strangely enough, some of the most popular 40k stories are actually in the 31st.
Yeah, it's all the Horus Heresy stuff, isn't it? Before.
And that is the more interesting stuff as well. Because that was before they separated Space Marines into regimented 1,000 Marine units.
Oh, it's before everything went wrong.
The Adeptus Astartes.
Well, it's exactly when everything went wrong, but it's before everything sort of decayed and all progress stopped and everyone got terrified of changing anything.
It was the first time anyone actually fought back to the evil empire, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
When the good folk from Chaos actually fought back a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty certain that's the story, that they're the good guys,
basically.
Yeah. That based on the, corn for the cornflakes for the corn god, whatever. So Russ,
hello.
Little TV series and film series came out a while ago, big when we were younger, called Jackass. Heard of it?
I can't believe they're doing this. But
have you seen the trailer?
Yeah. So I was just thinking, God, have they not learned anything? Have they not moved on? And do they not think that we've moved on? I mean, yeah, I thought that stuff was funny when I got back from the pub when I was 20.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, and then I watched it and I pissed myself laughing for a solid 10 minutes. It's fucking brilliant.
I don't know what it is about Jackass that was so much better than anything else that kind of came out at the same time.
There were so many imitators, but there's something about those guys and the charisma they had. Bam Margera's not in it anymore, which as far as I'm concerned is a good thing because he's a dick.
Yeah.
And Steve-O has turned into the sort of voice of reason and maturity in the group, which literally nobody saw coming.
But I don't know what, there's some real charm to Jackass, and I can't really figure out what it is, because it is stupid, but it's like, it's so over the top. I think is some of it. So like Party Boy is just funny.
Yeah,
like it's so silly, but he's just funny. And in this one, my favorite one is, I can't believe they actually do it. They put a giant photo of a ramp up and get someone to cycle towards the ramp. They just cycle into this wall, and I don't know why it's so funny.
It shouldn't be funny, and maybe that's part of why it is so funny, because you know that you're better than this, but you're really not.
You're not. Yeah, it's, oh god, it's brilliant. Jack says, didn't it turn out that Steve-O and Knoxville both had concussions after less than a week? Yep, from what I understand,
yeah,
that is the case. But Steve-O mentions that it's okay to have concussions if you're under 40, and Johnny Knoxville's under 50, and Johnny Knoxville's 49. So, of course, having watched enough NFL to know it's never okay to have concussions. But
I don't think that was fully qualified medical advice that he's giving there.
No.
I think they're steering away a bit more from the disgusting fluids this time round. Because I think Steve-O, it wasn't even for Jackass, but he did a thing where he basically used a high pressure air cannon to fire a dog turd directly into his ear.
Yes.
And he got a horrendous ear infection from it.
Yeah.
To the point where like you could go deaf from this.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely things he's done that he regrets.
Mm-hmm. Although, it's so disgusting. Mm. But the Portaloo fired up on the catapult it is funny. You can't help yourself. It's funny. It's funny stuff.
My favourite bit is when he gets in, and you hear Chris Pontius. He's always been my favourite. Just like Steve-O, just complaining, "Oh God, why am I doing this?" And you hear him just go, "Shut up and enjoy your shit." I don't know why I find it so funny every time.
Because that's the top, and everything sort of just is rising up slowly, and then it's unbelievable.
The shit awful. In the air thing is from this movie.
Oh, I thought it was not part of a Jackass thing, but obviously he has not learned.
Oh God! And if I'm Aaron, I'm not turning up.
They always just abused him.
Yeah.
It was like he didn't quite understand that they were extra horrible to him.
Yeah. But it does still look good. I'll definitely.
I will
watch it.
definitely see this at some point.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. So I'm quite excited about it. That's the best news I've had this week. Game Pass announced 12 more games, including some day one releases.
nice.
So we got Battlefield 5. Is coming to the cloud. Crimson Skies mentioned before. Blinks. Flight Sims coming to the console. We have the Ascents. Where is the other ones? Chris Tales is day one release. Lethal League Blaze, don't know what that is. Project Wingman. The big ones: Flight Sim, Crimson Skies, which you mentioned before.
Yeah.
The Last Stop, which is meant to be quite good. And the Ascent, which is a new release. And Battlefield 5 on cloud is good as well. Dan says, I might be a snob because I never thought I was better than Jackass and never watched it. Because I always thought I was better than Jackass and never watched it. I think
you are better than it.
You are,
but it's still funny.
No question, Dan. I've met you. You are better than Jackass. Don't ever question that. I like to think I am, but no, I'll descend into watching Jackass, no problem. Jamie says, wasn't there a bunch of Welsh guys that did something similar to Jackass, Dirty Sanchez, and it was nowhere near as funny?
It wasn't as funny, even though they had Welsh accents, which always makes everything a bit funnier.
No, the one that always sticks with me is when the guy hammers the U nail round his penis.
Yeah, it was
and
just
the way he just looks up and goes, I can't get it off. Made me laugh a lot.
They don't just hurt each other in Jackass. Yeah. They do it in a funny way. Like those giant hands that smack people. But instead of just lining up and doing it.
My favourite one is the...
So they go, could you just go and get us some soups?
Yeah, I thought it was weird.
Walks back with 2 bowls of soup. And gets taken out by the gigantic spring-powered hand.
Yeah. And that's the one... And is that the one where they're reading the note and the writing gets smaller, so they lean in and then the boxing glove comes out? Oh, God.
It takes real creativity to come up with this moronic stuff.
I think half of it is because it's some stuff you'd expect Wile E. Coyote to do. So, like, yeah, it just kind of works. We'll do a whole episode on Jackass. I've started having some ideas on what we could do with that already. So, like, I thought we might do, like, each of our top 5 sketches from Jackass or something. So we'll do that. Games coming to Game Pass. Good news, as always. Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin rocket launches drawing comparisons to Austin Powers scene.
It's
because it looks like a cock.
Yeah, I mean there are solid engineering reasons for it to look like a cock, but it does look like a cock, and also it ties into the fact that we've got a bunch of these. This is the latest Billionaires P the Highest contest.
Yeah, it really. Oh God, it annoys me so much.
Yeah,
you know, it's flooding all over the world, but it's okay because what's his face? Elon Musk got annoyed that no one was getting excited for him going to go into space.
Of course, nobody's excited for him going into space. So I didn't think so. Stuff like what SpaceX is doing is probably the most exciting out of all of this because they're not focused just on ridiculous space tourism for billionaires, but they've actually got a viable system to get astronauts up and down from the ISS. But nobody gives a shit what Elon Musk does.
No. I don't give a shit about any of them. I tell a lie. I give a shit when Richard Branson is pleading to the government for money for his airline that he says he can't afford to run. But then a year later, during the same global pandemic, he can afford to fuck himself up space.
Yeah.
Shit like that.
Yeah, he better not come asking for any more tax relief after just sending himself into space.
Yeah. Yeah. Scumbags. A lot of them. There we go, and Blue Origin looks like a cock. Marvel president wants to see Red Guardian fights Captain America, and I think I want to see that as well.
Red Guardian is the one from
Black Widow.
Black Widow, yeah.
Yes,
David Harbour.
Yeah, looks good. David Harbour's from a series called Stranger Things for us.
Never heard of it.
Ever heard of it? No.
Have you seen some of the trailers knocking about for the What If animated stuff?
It looks so good. All right.
Yeah, it does look very cool.
Fast and Furious. The Rock laughed hard at Vin Diesel's feud comments. While speaking to Men's Health ahead of the F9 release last month, Diesel said he wants to push to get the best out of actors working on the movie that he produced, stopping just short of comparing himself to iconic Italian filmmaker Federico Fellini.
What?
Took a lot of work, Diesel said of Johnson's performance in the Fast films. We had to get there, and sometimes at the time, I could give a lot of tough love. Not Fellini-esque, but I would do anything I have to do in order to get the performance in anything I'm producing.
He's the only one involved in making those movies that thinks they're art.
The Rock replied, I laughed, and I laughed hard. I think everyone had a laugh at that, and I'll leave it at that. And that I've wished them well. I wish them well on Fast 9. I wish them well on best of luck on Fast 10 and 11 and the rest of the Fast and Furious movies that they do without me. But I love that no one is taking it seriously except for Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
The next Fellini.
Clearly.
Definitely. Dan says put them in a space one-way trip. I'm assuming he doesn't mean Vin Diesel. But yeah. And I agree, Dan. And Paul says, hi, Paul. He says he flew into space and then immediately tried to sell $500 million worth in shares. The beardy prick. Oh, God. Fuckers. Aliens Fireteam Elite preview. A Xenomorph blasting shooter for hardcore fans, apparently.
So this is Left 4 Dead with aliens in it.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a solid all right. Which by the standards of Alien games is phenomenal.
Yeah. Able to get hands on and play the opening campaigns found in Aliens Fireteam Elite prior to its launch next month. Came away feeling hopeful for the most part. Mm-hmm. Fireteam Elite is incredibly straightforward and places you and 2 friends or AI controlled companions in a series of 4 campaigns, all of which will have you fighting off xenomorphs by dozens. Structure is similar to that of Left 4 Dead. Sounds fun. I'll give it a go.
I think you basically got to like get through the level to an extraction point and then hold it against wave after wave after wave of them until like your dropship arrives or whatever it is.
Jack, who is an Alien fan, says it looks naff. I can kind of see it as well. Like, but I'll play it. But well, maybe I'll play it. I'll play it like I play other games.
Play it when it pops up on Game Pass.
Tell a lie. I'll buy it. Probably won't play it. Don't play any games really. I don't really have time. Russ, how are your eyes?
Fine, I think.
They clear?
I believe so.
How about your heart? Is that full?
What's going on, Daniel?
Do you reckon you could lose?
What is? Are you
Friday
just?
Night Lights complete series coming back to Netflix.
Oh, is it really?
Well, in America, I'm assuming it's probably coming back in the UK as well.
I would watch all of Friday Night Lights again.
Me too. Like, I'd like to do Ted Lasso into Friday Night Lights.
Yeah.
Like uplifting sports stuff.
Yeah.
I love Friday.
With a Mrs. Coach style massive fucking glass of white wine.
I love. Who was it? Who did the best take of Friday Night Lights?
Oh, Amy Schumer did it, and she ends up with like just a tankard.
Where the wine glass got bigger, like every time it cut to her. Yeah. That was very funny. Friday Night Lights is fucking brilliant. If you haven't watched it, you don't have to like American football, but it helps. I think.
It doesn't. It's not about football.
I mean, it's. No,
you don't need to know anything about football to watch that game.
Well,
to watch that game. To watch that.
That's why I like
show.
it, Russ.
But you don't. It doesn't go deep into tactical minutiae.
Some moments.
Yeah, but it explains more really clearly. It's not about football. It would be boring if it was.
Take that back. Yeah, no, Friday Night Lights is brilliant. Like everyone in Friday Night Lights went on to do loads of stuff, and Tim Riggins.
It's got Jesse Plemons not being a creepy psychopath in it. Well, they gloss over that very quickly.
He does do the Big Bang Theory thing of hanging out with someone until they agree to go out with it.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, but you know, it's quite charming. I don't know, but yeah. Yeah. So, I like Friday Night Lights. and I need to Friday Night Dinner. Then Friday Night Lights, and I'm quite.
Friday Night Dinner, also an excellent show. Very different.
Yeah, you watched Loki, haven't you, Russ?
Yeah, finished it now. Phenomenal.
Yeah. So, it has been said that the where they go, the void, when they're pruned, is based on the Teletubbies land. That was apparently what's her name? God, I'm trying to find her name. Kate Herron said that's when she said, trying to describe it, she was like, imagine like the Teletubbies land. So Teletubbies have come back with a response of a variant which is Dipsy with like 2 horns coming out like at the side. Loki, meet
Nice.
Dipsy, we'll see you in the void.
It doesn't look like Teletubby Land.
No, but it kind of does. Ish.
Not seeing it.
No, well,
Very little tubby custard knocking about.
well, depends if Mobius and Loki get to hang out more. A load of new games coming to Nintendo Switch Online, which is, you know, I think you have to pay like 30 quid a year, so it's probably worth it to play, like, to potentially have the SNES and NES classic games on there.
Yeah.
Claymates, which I remember being fun. I might be wrong on that one. Jelly Boy and Bombuzzle are coming to the online.
Though that is like just the 3 most Nintendo sounding games that you could ever come up with there.
They are. Yeah, definitely. Jack says, speaking of Alien, the trailer for Ridley's new film is out and looks pretty good. I still haven't watched it. I meant to watch it, but I've heard it meant to look quite.
So what's the trailer for what?
Ridley Scott's new film.
Oh, right, cool.
Oh, that's the one with Adam Driver, isn't it?
Yes.
Last Duel. That's the one.
Doesn't have any
I'll
aliens
watch
in it.
the trailer afterwards. But I've heard it's meant to be quite good. What else have we got? Oh, Daredevil fans are excited. Charlie Cox had to cancel a convention appearance, with the rumours being that he had to do reshoots for Spider-Man No Way Home.
Interesting. Highly speculative, though.
Yeah. I mean, he could have been doing anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jamie said, did Nintendo say they were going to release N64 games with the online pass? So the one thing they've said is that they're definitely working on the mini N64.
Yeah, but it won't have GoldenEye on it, so it doesn't matter.
No, because that is a rights nightmare,
Yeah.
apparently.
It'll basically never be released again.
No. But they asked Phil Spencer about that. Like, so Rare, surely they could just, like, remake GoldenEye. And he said, no, you just, it's impossible.
No.
You just can't do it. Because it's a nightmare. But yeah, so Daredevil might be may or may not be in Spider-Man No Way Home. We must be due a trailer for that soon.
Yeah, I think they're obviously waiting for cinemas to get up and running fully again.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, it's been a long time since we've had anything for it. Same with Dune. I think we must be due a new trailer for Dune soon.
I mean, that's out soon, isn't it?
Yeah, but there's only been one trailer for it, hasn't there?
Yeah. Yep. Okay then. Suicide Squad. How James Gunn and Margot Robbie got a new take on Harley Quinn. I watched a video before this talking about how they're both talking about how this is much closer to, in James Gunn's word, the classic Harley Quinn that he loved from the comics and the animated series, which is, I think, exciting because so far she's been pretty, okay. Like Margot Robbie's been excellent, but I've just been disappointed with the portrayal of Harley Quinn because I'm one of them internet nerds now that does that. But yeah, I'm so excited about Suicide Squad. It looks so good.
It doesn't. It looks very funny.
It looks really, really silly. Jack said the Dune character posters dropped yesterday, so I wouldn't be surprised.
That's probably why I was thinking about it. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought they did release another trailer for it. I might be wrong. James says, love Dune, can't wait. Shame they didn't make a series. If there's anyone I trust to make anything remotely science fiction at the moment, It's got to be Denis Villeneuve.
Well, especially that kind of huge scope, operatic kind of sci-fi.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he's not the person to go to for, like, you know, a sort of a sci-fi military shooter type thing. But so anything that's going to have long pauses of people staring at deserts, get him on board.
Yeah, I think he's going to nail it. I hope he is. Like, I think he already undertook a more difficult task, which was make another Blade Runner.
Yeah, make another Blade Runner that is
every bit as good as the
if you're going to make a science fiction film, they all get compared to Blade Runner at some point. So if you're literally making another Blade Runner, that is a hard bar to pass, and it was excellent.
It's so good. Really, really good. Dan says, so basically less gratuitous butt shots in regard to Harley Quinn. Yep, hopefully.
Basically, yeah.
Like James Gunn's always been pretty good, I think.
I think just the world is getting a bit better at that kind of thing.
The other thing is, the trailer I saw, there were far more shots of rats doing like cute little human things with the rat catcher, which I'm all about. Let's do that. There's a bit where Peacemaker just goes, "I'm not shaking the rat's hand," and the rat's just like sitting there like that with his hand out and go, and like, I'm all about that. Let's do that. Brilliant. Last bit of news: Lionsgate take global rights to Kevin Smith's Clerks 3. Kevin Smith is starting to film Clerks 3 at the end of the month, I think. All about that Clerks 3. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back reboot is a ridiculous film that kicked me right in the feels at the end, but it's really fucking good, and I'm quite happy for him to make Clerks 3.
Yeah.
So there's that. Following, so Randall, Dante, both in it. Elias, who stole the show in Clerks 2, and obviously Jay and Silent Bob are both in it as well. Can someone, like Mortal Kombat or something, can we please have Bluntman and Chronic as playable characters in it? Just, I'll buy whatever game does that. Soul Calibur, Smash Brothers, whatever. Just like have them as playable characters in it. But yeah, so like
I'm sure that will happen soon.
Yeah, Clerks 3 getting a massive release, which is awesome. Excited about that. So, yeah.
Great.
And I think, unless you've got anything, I've probably missed a load of stuff.
No, it kind of newsed out. I think yeah, the Steam Deck and Netflix getting into gaming finally are probably the biggies.
Yeah, we'll see how Netflix does in terms of the gaming, because obviously Google tried it recently and they're backpedaling on that pretty quickly. So,
but this is very different. They're like, they've got an established ecosystem that they're just expanding.
True. That is true.
Rather than like a whole new thing that you'd have to get on board with.
Dan said Clerks 2 was underwhelming.
Well, he's entitled to that opinion, Daniel.
I really liked Clerks 2. I think it had some shite moments in it, though. Like the dancing bit in the middle. I don't really see the point of that, but yeah. Clerks was lightning in the bottle, though. It's very, very good. Mallrats was great as well. I think on Marvel in Marvel, we're going to rank the Kevin Smith films at some point. We might have even done that on this pod at some point. I don't know what we've done anymore, Russ. I did have the idea that we should do a TV series that we'd recommend that would be considered underrated at some point.
I'm sure we could bust out a few of those, yeah.
Yeah. So there's a series called The Expanse. I should not be allowed to mention it. But yeah. Right. That's it, Russ.
Okay.
Shall I do the wrap up?
Go for it.
Do it? No, I don't mind. Okay. Cool.
No, you do it. Go on.
Sure. Okay. So
obviously edging too.
Last week's pod hasn't actually gone up yet. It will be up by the time this one comes out to pod, obviously, because I'll release them in some kind of order at least. And then on top of that, we've got Marvel in Marvel. We're going to wrap up Loki. And we're going to do a Black Widow spoiler cast. We've all seen it now. So that's coming. And then I think we're moving on to top 5 Denzel Washington films. Something like that. It is.
Sure.
It sounds random, but it is that, basically.
Cool.
Then top 5 Coen Brothers films. That was my choice because we each picked things we wanted to do. So yeah, we're gonna get to pick top 5 Coen Brothers films. That kind of thing is all going to last right the way up till the next Marvel film comes out. can't remember. We'll do one on Suicide Squad as well.
It's Doctor Strange, isn't it? After
Shang-Chi, I think, next.
I don't know, to be honest.
Shang-Chi, then Eternals, then Spider-Man, and in between that we've got Hawkeye and the other TV series, What If. There's another series as well, so yeah. Jack says, can we get Dan a shock collar that shocks him when he mentions Expanse, Chicago Bears, or his Forza pre-order cars? No, I've got nothing else to talk about, so I'll just literally sit here quietly doing nothing. And at some point, we are going to do our Critical Role recap. That is going to happen. I think, Russ, you might finish watching it by the time we actually get around to doing it.
Easily,
What episode are you on now?
I've not made much progress lately. I think I'm on about 33 or something out of 4,275,000,000.
Just 141, Russ.
Yeah.
I mean, don't exaggerate there.
Easy.
Dan says, has Denzel Washington been in a Marvel film yet? He has not.
No, he hasn't. It's starting to get to the point where it's very hard. When you say, has X been in a Marvel thing? You have to
like
really...
British actors in Harry Potter. Yeah.
Really rattle the brain to decide if they have or haven't.
Yeah. Yeah, so we've got stuff coming out. I'm going to try and be more involved on social media and stuff because I've taken a step back recently. I'm going to try and be more involved. Should have a bit more space to play around with so I can do some fun things. So if you want to contact us, hit us up. Yeah, sign up to my OnlyFans. If you want to contact us, hit us up on Twitter or Instagram, just at TNTOOH. And that's about it. Thank you, Russ. This has been fun. Thank you, everyone, for watching.
Daniel?
Do I say it as well?
What, the exit line?
Yeah.
I mean, you should do. Otherwise, we're just going to sit here forever, aren't we?
And with that, cue the music.